We know it's not summertime yet, but that's okay. We want to do something that makes us feel a little bit better because the Patriots just lost the Super Bowl and we're all kind of a little bit down. So we've come up with a really cool recipe today. We're going to do some grilling. We're going to do bourbon turkey tips with a pilaf. But the pilaf is going to be a little bit different than your normal pilaf. We're going to make it with barley. So let's get started with our turkey. I bought a turkey breast, skin on, and this is actually boneless. Now when you're shopping in the grocery store, you can find many, many different kinds of turkey breast. This one here, they call it foil wrap turkey. It's ready for the oven with no bones in it. Now that's more of a commercial grade kind of a turkey breast, but you can get it boneless if you want, or you can leave the bone in and just trim it off yourself and save the bone for a nice stock later, which actually would be perfect because we're going to use some of that stock and the pilaf too, so that would be a great opportunity for you to do that as well. But we bought a turkey breast, skin on, and we're going to actually take that skin off before it gets on the grills, and it peels off nice and easy. But Bob can get in and get a nice close-up of what you're looking at here. And it's just standard run-of-the-mill turkey breast, but again, like I said, we bought the boneless one. So we've taken we're taking a half of the breast, a quarter of the turkey, half of the breast, and we trimmed it right in half. And then all we're going to do is cut this into pieces. Now we took the breast, cut it in half, and then now we've got one piece here, and we're just going to cut it into chunks, just like this. And really, what we want to do is we want to make them big enough so that they'll stand up to the grill, but you don't want to make them too big that they won't cook. So I would say a good 6 pieces like this is perfect. So now, what we're going to do is we'll put them in our bowl and we're going to start to build a marinade on them. But I want to talk a little bit about the turkey breast. Now, when you buy it in the supermarket and you buy it on the bone, you're getting natural, fresh turkey breast. Be careful when you're buying different things because they have what's called, in our industry, they call it pump. And what pump is it's pumped with a stock, a seasoned stock, which is loaded with salt. So just be careful when you buy it. And if you look at the ingredients, and if it says turkey and sodium blah blah blah, some sort of a preservative or whatever, be careful. Just look at what you're buying, that's all. I mean, it makes it taste great, but it also makes it expand, which by doing that it adds weight to it, which means they're making more money because now they're selling you a product that's pumped with fluid, and it's not a total yield on the breast. So when you cook it, a lot of that fluid gets taken out of it. So just be careful what you're buying, both in nutrition and for cost reasons. So we'll take the turkey breast now, and we've got it in our little bowl here, and we've got some nice bourbon. I'm going to splash about 1/4 cup of bourbon right on there. And what that's going to do is that's not only going to give it a great flavor, but it's also going to help to give it some more tenderizing as well. Then I've got our favorite barbecue sauce. You can use whatever convenience barbecue sauce you like. We're going to put about the same amount in there, actually about 1/2 cup of barbecue sauce right in there. And then of course, we're going to finish it up with the edge. You can use your favorite seasoning salt, but I highly recommend the edge. And I put probably about 3 tablespoons in. And we're just going to toss that around. And the bourbon is going to thin it down a little bit. But the last ingredient we need to add to this, so it doesn't stick to the grill, is some oil. So I've got a nice olive oil here. And what we'll do is we're going to splash in probably about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And that's really, it's going to add a little bit of flavor, but there's so many dominant flavors in here. That's really just to keep it so it doesn't stick to the grill, and when you go to peel it off, it rips apart. This way here, you'll get good markings on it. We'll show you how to do that later. So now we've got this marinated. We're going to set this aside, and we'll get right into the pilaf. So we'll get right into the pilaf now, but just now as I was setting the turkey aside, Bob had mentioned that one of the great marinades that would really add to that, or great whiskey that would add to that, would be the Tennessee honey whiskey. So that's another alternative that you can try with that. I think we're going to do that next time because I hadn't thought of it. I think that sounds amazing. With the turkey breast, that'd be awesome. So anyway, we're going to make a barley pilaf, and I've got some fresh veggies cut up ahead here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a medium-sized stock pot, and we're going to add 3 teaspoons of butter to that. And we just want that to melt down just a little bit. And what we're going to do then is we're going to saute up some veggies in there. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of carrots, diced. 1/4 cup of onions diced, and 1/4 cup of bell peppers, also diced. And I have a good heaping teaspoon of fresh minced garlic. And I've got about 1/4 cup of chopped parsley here. I'm going to add about half of that, so about 1/8 of a cup. Just try to get some of the aromatics to come out in that oil and the butter. So now we're just going to get the veggies to saute up a little bit. And I think the trick here is to just try to soften them. We're trying to sweat them a little bit. Now I've got a couple other veggies we're going to add after, but the reason why I wanted to get these started is they take a little bit longer to cook. So we want to get them to start sweating out a little bit. Now, we're going to go ahead and add, I've got a cup of barley here, and you can rinse it if you want to. Some people say rinsing it makes it a little bit less starchy. I think the starchiness is good because it's going to end up like risotto when we're done. So, and that's one of the things we're going to talk a little bit about as this is browning. And really why I added this to this stage is I want that butter to kind of toast it up a little bit. I want to get a little bit of brownness to that barley because that's going to add a nice nutty flavor to the pilaf as it cooks. And this is a nice variation because it's a whole grain. It's a much healthy, it's nice and healthy. You can use brown rice. You can certainly make it with any kind of pilaf you want. And this is just something that's a little bit uncommon. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do it this way. You don't see it every day. So I can smell the nuttiness coming around that body. It's starting to turn nice and brown a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and add 1/4 cup of wild mushrooms and 1/4 cup of diced tomatoes. Now those tomatoes are going to break down. You're probably not going to see those anymore, so you might as well go ahead and say goodbye now while you get the chance. But it's going to add a nice garden fresh taste to it. That's really the idea behind those. It's going to bring that nice flavor out. It's going to taste like the backyard. We're going to add the rest of that parsley. And this is where we're going to add our liquid now. We've got it all nice and browned. All the veggies are in there. Everybody's in the mosh pit here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add your favorite brand of convenience red sauce. I've got about 1 cup of like a marinara or a tomato product, any kind of tomato sauce, your favorite brand. This is our homemade marinara, our house marinara here. And chicken stock. Now the chicken stock, you can use bouillon, you can use the boxes of stock, you can use any kind of stock you want as far as that goes. And you can even turn this vegetarian and use a vegetarian stock too if you want. But we're going to add, and basically the ratio is 2-to-1 stock versus barley. So that tomato product, you don't want to use that in the equation either. So we're going to add 3 cups total of chicken stock. I'm sorry, 2 cups total. I used 3 ladles. 2 cups total of chicken stock to the 1 cup of barley. And really, what you want to do there, now this is going to take quite a while to cook, but the reason why is because that barley is going to act like a sponge. We talked about that risotto effect on it. What's going to happen is it's going to continue to cook and it's going to suck up the liquid in there. So you want to keep an eye on it and just have a little bit of extra stock handy, just in case. But now at this stage of the game, what's going to happen is we're going to bring this up and we're going to let it roll for a while. Probably about a good solid 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then what we'll do is we'll turn it down, we're going to cover it. As it's still rolling, we're going to shut it off and move it aside. So I would say the whole process is going to take probably about 20 minutes to a half an hour, depending on how quickly the barley wants to cooperate with us. But it's going to end up being rich, buttery, flavorful. We're going to add a little bit of the edge at the end. Again, you don't want to add your salt content to this until the very end because as it's cooking, it's reducing. The liquids are reducing out and absorbing into that barley. So you don't want to add too much salt now because everything's going to be overly salted. So you want to wait till the very end. So we'll go ahead and just let this cook up. And then when this is all set, when we set this aside, we're going to work on caramelizing up some onions and building that foundation for that barbecue sauce for the rest of the marinated turkey tips, so we can finish that off as well. So while we have this barley reducing down, let's take a moment to introduce a new member of the Anodized family, Resolution 15. The song title is Sufferers Rise, and it's off their latest EP, Satyagraha. If you like what you're hearing, check out their Facebook fan page at facebook.com/resolution15. And if you really want to go show some support to them, check them out on their new project on Kickstarter, and you can show them some love. So I'm occasionally moving the barley around because I really want to make sure that we're covering all the surface area on the barley. And you can tell now that the stock and the tomato sauce is starting to really get absorbed into that barley. So at this stage of the game, we're going to want to add a little bit more stock to it. So I've got a 6-ounce ladle. We'll just add a little bit at a time because we want that barley to absorb the flavor a little bit at a time. It's just like making risotto. Give that a stir and let that barley do some more work. Now, the total cooking time varies, but you really want to make sure that that you add enough liquid to it so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, and so that that you're constantly giving it the liquid that it needs. It's going to continue to absorb, and then you want to stop right at the point where it's got a nice little bite. So almost to the tubular, al dente. So that extra little bit of stock will help put us right over the top. And again, just keep it moving, and it's going to come out perfect. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 15 minutes, almost 20 minutes now, and I actually did add another cup, and I've been stirring it occasionally as it's been cooking. You don't want to walk away from this, because what will end up happening is if you run out of liquid, it'll reduce down too much and it'll burn on the bottom of the pan and just turn into a debauchery and turn into a mess. So really, what you want to do is you want to keep an eye on it, stir it up frequently, and as the liquid reduces out, like I said, keep that extra chicken stock handy. And I put about maybe another cup or so of stock in there and let it cook down slowly. Now, what happens is the barley will double in size, so you'll really be able to kind of see that it's, you in there, Bob? We'll get a good shot of that. And what's happening there is now, is it's doubled in size. It's still got a little bit of a fork tender bite to it. It's not completely cooked all the way, but at this stage what we're going to do is we're going to shut it down, we're going to put a lid on it, and we're going to set it aside, and we're going to let it steam the rest of the way. By covering it, it's going to trap the rest of that steam in there, and what will happen now is that steam will continue to cook that barley, so when we go at it the next time, it's going to be fully cooked, it's going to be nice and light and fluffy, and it'll be perfect. And you take a nice spoon, put it right on the plate, it's going to be beautiful. At this stage, we'll set it aside, we'll get right into grilling our turkey. Okay, so now that we've got our turkey marked off on the grill, what we're going to do is we're going to caramelize up some onions and get that prepped up to go into the oven with the turkey. So what I've done is I've got this saute pan going here. While we're waiting on the barley to finish, we're going to go ahead and saute it with about a tablespoon of olive oil. I've got half of a white onion, julienne cut, and what we're going to do is we're just going to saute that up. We want to get a good caramel, nice brown color on these guys. And we're going to just add them right, add those grilled turkey tips right in there. And the reason why we want to do this and finish them in the oven is they're going to be much more tender, because if we left them on the grill to finish all the way, now you can always reduce the temperature on the grill and finish them on the grill, but this way here, that onion flavor is going to marry with them. And all the herbs and seasonings and everything else that they've been marinated in, it's all going to come together to kind of bring it all out. You know, we've got a lot of stuff in that edge there, and what that's going to do is that's going to kind of blend with the onions and the barbecue sauce and finish off and make a real nice marinade. And what you really want to do is get the brownness in them. Let that oil do the job. Got a nice hot pan here. You can see them starting to sear. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to deglaze caramelized onions. They're really starting to brown up nice. We're getting a little bit of color out of them. But when we do this, we're going to take a little bit of our whiskey and just kind of deglaze a little bit. Yeah, baby. Oh, man. That's one way to open up the pit. All right, so we're going to let these, now, we add that extra liquid in there. Oh. Now we're really going to get some color out of these guys. So, let's grab our turkey, and then we'll finish up with just a touch of more barbecue sauce in there, and then we'll pop them right in the oven. Now, looks like the sauce can be a little looser, so I'm going to go ahead and take about half a cup of chicken stock and just kind of deglaze a little bit with it. And what that's going to do is that's going to kind of let everything flow freely, if you will. Now, We're going to take this pan. Now we chose a saute pan with a handle that doesn't have any rubber or plastic or anything on it that's going to melt. We're going to go ahead and throw this whole pan right in the oven and let it finish that way. It's just going to be beautiful. Okay, so we get our turkey tips out of the oven, and you can see here they look beautiful, nice and golden brown. The sauce reduced a little bit. We actually cooked them at 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes after the grill. And really, you want to just, if you have a meat thermometer, you can stick it in there, 165 or above, or you can snap one right in half, and as long as there's no pink in there, you're good to go. So let's go over here and check out the barley now. You can see that the barley really sucked up a lot of that broth, that stock that was in there, and it's also nice and light and fluffy. So what we'll do is we'll put a couple of good spoonfuls right in the middle of that plate there. And that half cup should be enough to feed about 3 people. 2 if they're guys like Bob and I. But what we'll do is we'll build a little nest right on the plate, and then we'll come right in and we'll arrange 3 of these nice little turkey tips right in the middle. These things are huge too. Bob made a comment on that. Then we'll get some of that sauce, some of the onions, go right over the top, just like that. And now you got another one for another serve in there too. Put it in your plate a little bit. And there we have it. Bourbon turkey tips with Barley Pilaf. Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about the wine. So the wine we chose to serve today with the barbecue is the Chappellet 2010 Chenin Blanc from Napa Valley, which is I've always wanted to go to Napa Valley. It's a nice California wine. One of the things we found on it is we found that it's super fruity, and it's got a nice stone fruit balance to it. Nice. It comes through really strong. And Bob used the reference of squirting a fresh lemon over peaches and apricots, and that's perfect analysis on that. And that's going to cut right through the sweetness of the barbecue, which is great. And it's also going to accent the starch in the barley. So we thought this would be a perfect wine to go with this nice little dish here. So thank you very much for joining us in our magic, our madness, and our mayhem. We will see you next time.